today. Boop. This is ChillPoint. That's it. Yep, that's it, chat. You have now been booped.
When you think about it, why should anything make sense?
It doesn't have to. That's the beauty of this show.
It makes sense to us, but it shouldn't have to ever make sense to Chad.
I don't think it even has to make sense to us. There's something. Have you ever? I don't know about you, Beach, but every time we're about to start, I sit and I'm waiting because I'm not sure if Paul is going to do something we were just talking about, or if he's had something else in his mind the entire time, and I'm just waiting to find out.
He's been cooking for that, for like a couple days.
The period between when it says, when the timer runs out, and they like, let's go, or they like, coming right up or whatever, and when I hit intro, is also usually when I decide that.
Yeah,
thing.
Surprise for Paul too.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's like when we're doing like a CTS stream or something, and like while the intro is playing, people are like, "Hey, so who wants to bring us?"
yeah. It's like, hey, why don't we think about that?
Last night we didn't even do that. We just all were like, we're just gonna go in cold.
Yeah, and it'll be fine. It
worked out.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
So anyway, hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to ChillPoint, the show where we talk about the week's video game news. And normally we would also be talking about week's episode of ChillPoint. Checkpoint. Mm-hmm. We talk about the week's episode of ChillPoint on ChillPoint because that's literally... We talk about Checkpoint on ChillPoint because we give you the background info. But there was no Checkpoint this week because we're all prepping for the pre-release. So no Checkpoint this week, but that doesn't mean that news didn't happen.
Yes.
Yep. So instead of talking about what did happen in Checkpoint, we talk about what could have happened in Checkpoint.
What could have? You can imagine the rant that people would have gone on about a thing. And I mean, we can also rant now, but it won't be as condensed and
tightly edited
or tightly scripted a rant. It'll be a more far-ranging kind of rant.
Yeah, the jokes might not be as concise.
Yes, or might not be jokes,
or might not land,
or might not be funny.
That too.
All kinds of things can happen. Welcome to ChillPoint.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the video game stuff. Starting with Diablo 4. New Diablo.
Due to come out
pretty soon. This has gone through a long time of a long gestation period. It's been since the last Diablo.
I'm going to guess 3.
Diablo. There's a big expansion for Diablo and for Diablo 3 and stuff.
Okay.
So, but it's been a long time since any Diablo stuff has come out.
Are you saying that Diablo fans have been left out in the cold for a little while?
It's true.
Let's see, Earthen One mentions DeForblo, which I'm actually I'm not entirely certain, but I think they're a Florida rapper of some sort.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean.
And there was also the Diablo mobile game. That
Immortal?
was Diablo Immortal.
Yes.
I think it was Immortal. That was extremely popular with everybody. If you measure popularity in the sense of people being very vocal about it.
People definitely having opinions about it.
It had a large amount of user engagement, shall we say.
Well, it's easy to do when everybody has phones.
Exactly.
It's nice that they have some stage presence.
So, but everyone has been waiting for the new Diablo 4, for the new Diablo game for a long time, and they've been teasing it for a long time. And, there's been different things revealed. We know that the big bad is going to be Lilith.
No shit.
Well, it's tough.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's tough. Like, they kind of wrote themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
The first game, you fight the devil.
Yes.
The second game, it's like, it turns out the devil's got 2 brothers. Mephisto, and Baal.
Oh yeah, other demons.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, gotcha.
But then they're like, okay, now you've killed the 3 like biggest demons.
Yes.
You killed the big demon. Now we've got to kill the 3 demons, and then the third one is like, okay. It turns out there were 7 other demons
Wow.
that are all like they keep having to come up with new scarier
and
things.
more of them.
Yeah, but when you start at Diablo,
Yeah.
who's basically the devil,
Yeah.
it's hard to like keep ramping it up. So anyway, we are at Lilith now.
Good.
And
What happens after Lilith, though?
I don't know.
Lilith is always, I feel like, gets the short end of the stick.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Diablo 5 in space.
Oh, yeah, there. Yeah,
I was
space,
going to
space.
say God turns bad and you have to fight God in hell.
I mean, the like angels in heaven and hell and
Yep.
stuff are like a large part of Diablo. The mythology of Diablo is kind of
Maybe,
bonkers.
maybe Diablo 5 will team up with Bayonetta.
Oh yeah. I mean, if they could lift just be like, and now it's Diablo 5 Odyssey, and now it's Diablo 6 Black Flag. Like it's just like
Yeah.
let's just do these in different places with different mythologies.
And yeah, I feel like Diablo himself will be like a maybe like the first boss in a future Diablo game. It'll be like the first. Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway.
spin-off game, Diablo's Retirement.
Oh yeah. Where you just where
Maybe
you like
maybe play ping pong.
and you have to like maybe it's like a decorate. You have to like decorate his cave or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
hangs out.
Wherever he ends up getting to
Kind
retire.
of like an Animal Crossing.
Happy Hell
thing.
Designer.
Yeah.
Anyway, the reason why the new piece of information that has been released now is all about endgame, which for Diablo is a big deal. Where people have been playing. I mean, it was especially a big thing with Diablo 2. Like people played Diablo 2 until Diablo 3 came out. Like it's a weird game. It's one of these interesting games where it's sort of ostensibly like primarily a single player game.
Yeah.
But it also has this multiplayer aspect to it, and there's all sorts of cool
Right, there's leaderboards and stuff.
leaderboards and all sorts
Yeah.
of cool things that it basically
Auction
like
house.
beating the game is just the start of the whole like multiplayer part.
Yep, that's life.
Yeah,
folks.
people still play
Getting out of
Diablo
high
2.
school is just the start.
So
Diablo High School.
yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. Anyways,
dating game.
Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
Deckard Cain is like the school counselor.
That'd be so fun.
Sit a while and listen.
My detention, man. Can I go? Sorry.
Dean Deckard. Anyway, so endgame stuff, and what I love about this is, and I'm sure if you are know stuff about other Diablo endgame things, this doesn't sound that totally unusual.
Okay.
But I love all the extra stuff. So it's like, you've got, upon completing the campaign, you'll get access to the capstone dungeon, and if you unlock that, you unlock the first world tier, and then the world tier will unlock a new level of difficulty, which will give you new loot and other advantages and stuff. And then on top of the skill tree, you will also be able to access the Paragon system, which gives you more customization with the Paragon board. And then the Paragon system has the Codex of Power, which will allow you to equip aspects, which you earn through doing endgame dungeons. And then the aspects can make weapons that you encounter into legendary class weapons, which presumably is better.
Kind of like Hades' thing of you've beaten the game maybe a few times, but also by now you've gotten enough Titan blood and you've unlocked all the other weapons that now you can go looking for the expanded versions of the weapons and
Something more fun.
Yeah.
And then you can also go back to dungeons you played before
Oh, that's always fun.
and play them as nightmare dungeons. And of course,
Okay, I take back.
of
what I
course,
said.
Diablo's thing, which has been the case since Diablo 1,
Right.
is that Diablo was like one of the first not the first, but it was one of this idea of like the sort of roguelike, not rogue, but like randomly
Procedurally
generated stuff, right? So
Yeah.
you can keep playing through the same dungeons over and over again. They'll be different each time,
Right.
And this way you can go back and play any of the dungeons that you played before, which there's a whole ton of them. Over 120 dungeons are in the game, and you can go back and play through all of them.
Does that mean that when they say you can go back and play them, do they mean that we lock in the seed for the dungeon so it generates the same way when you want to go back and play it, or that it's like in the original Diablo where so that's the only one I really played. That's the only one I played at all. When you go back down to do another dive again, everything has already changed.
Because usually like when you in at least previously in Diablo, even like restart, like even like going back to a dungeon, like just playing the game and restarting will regenerate it.
Okay,
so
okay.
I think it's probably going to be different.
Okay. That's
Nightmare Dungeons are going to have will have feature modifiers called affixes. One of which you can sort of get added to Nightmare Dungeons to make them more difficult.
right.
One of those, for example, they gave was Hellgate, which as you go through the dungeon, randomly portals open up to horrible monsters that are not supposed to be native to that region.
Somebody let the cat flap open.
Yeah.
There's more?
Oh yeah, there's more.
I mean,
Endgame is important.
Okay.
they've been working on this game for a very long time, Beach.
But
You don't want anyone to look
the
at it and just
overworld-
say it's DLC now.
Okay.
The overworld of Diablo 4 will also, and so once you're completed the campaign, the overworld will be modified to include targeted activities called Hell Tides, where monsters become harder and there are new environmental effects like meteors falling from the sky. I love this. So I love the description. New environmental effects like meteors falling from the sky will pester players as they try to slay the forces from hell.
like in SimCity 2000.
You ever been pestered by a meteor falling from the sky?
Well, only once.
Yeah, but in Hi-Fi Rush, you could
All these
send it
meteors.
back if your timing was ready.
And then you can also go to the Tree of Whispers,
Okay, that sounds fun.
which is a tree that
Whispers?
it's a
I've
tree
seen-
that sends you on to complete bounties.
Oh,
I don't know why the
okay.
tree is. It's like there's this tree that's like the quest,
bounty
the
tree.
quest giver.
Okay, cool.
I don't know whether it's actually like the tree doing stuff or whether people just like attach flyers to the tree.
like a conifer that
It's
just
not
is a
like the
giant-
tree's going out anywhere.
It's a giant exclamation point just kind of floating. The leaves are in the shape of an exclamation point.
Just
yeah.
you walk up to the tree and the tree is like, kill that guy.
You're like, that's not okay, tree. Maybe you need to
And
chill
you're-
out a bit.
You're like, and then you
So-
just like, it's like, I'm sorry, the tree says you have to die.
So what it ends up being is it's this tree that everyone passes by and they don't think about it, but they constantly are talking about all of their secrets while they're passing by
Yeah.
the tree.
Oh,
and the
there you
tree
go.
is gathering information about what it wants you to do because now it can't go anywhere and it's mad
Right.
at Todd who gets to go to the movies. So Todd has to die.
The giving tree is gonna.
The tree's like that
take people out.
shorter, dumpier secret agent that that James Bond talks to and gives him all the information what he has to do next. Yeah, okay. They call this end game, but nothing about this denotes the end of a game. Like it all is more game.
Well, I mean, end game. They mean post
Post-game.
campaign game.
Sure, it's just
Story's over
It's
and
stuff
now
you can do that isn't like the story of the game. I guess.
this
I
game
do-
never ends.
Which I like because I like that this is like the stuff that happens post story because if all this stuff was happening on top, like if on top of Lilith attacking and all these monsters and stuff attacking,
right.
if the world also had random meteors attack, like the Sanctuary, which is the name of the world,
Yeah.
is not a good. It doesn't seem like a nice place to be.
Well, no, at that point we'd have Elden Ring, and we already have that game.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you're bored with doing the stuff from the Tree of Whispers, you can go to the Fields of Hatred.
It might be a
Alright.
great place to have a picnic.
Is that PvP?
It is.
Yeah,
Great
okay.
place
It
for a
sounded
picnic.
about right.
Yeah. And when you're in PvP, you can fight people to earn shards.
Okay.
And shards can be so you collect shards and then you have to take them back to town, and on your way back to town you can get ganked by people and they can steal your shards.
To shards,
But,
you say?
you get the shards, take it back to town, and then you can purify your shards and use them to purchase cosmetics.
Okay.
And then I think that's all the stuff that you can do.
All that they've told anyone about.
Although they do say launch day is just the beginning. Diablo 4 will receive a living, breathing set of updates for players to engage with after the game has gone
Isn't
live.
that just
I don't know what living, breathing set of updates means.
A live service game.
Yeah, I think that's the idea here, right? Is it's like Diablo 4 launches all the end game content they're describing, right? Like all the end game. This isn't an expansion. This is all built into the release of it, and it's meant to explain. Here's everything after you're done, because we know what you're like. We've seen you Diablo players for many years. We get it.
Also, this is also, I think, acknowledgement that like a lot of games will be like, here's the game, and then a couple months later they'll be like, we've added a bunch of stuff for end game stuff.
Yes.
They know that they release the game, people will be wanting end game stuff 2 days later.
Yes, exactly. The people are going to deep dive on it for 48 hours.
Have you seen fans of things?
Yeah, people will be like, where's the end game? I've had this game for 2 days.
A game doesn't even come out, and they're like, okay, but what's the next thing they're working on? Like the internet is a bottomless pit of there's nothing to satisfy.
No, it's true. It's just a yawning maw, and it's and much like hell, I'm sure, in its own way. I mean, this is kind of cool that it's like, we get it. We're letting you know everything we're doing. We're planning on giving you a whole bunch of other stuff to do, but to get there, you have to play and finish the game first, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
I'm imagining, like, because the biggest game that I've played in a long time is Breath of the Wild, and I mean, it's 7 years ago, but leave me alone. Anyway, but that idea of, because there's so much stuff to do in that world, and if they had kind of made it that we need you to do the major quest stuff first, and then when you're done, then going off to do all the other things is stuff that you can do. The more like you fix the shrines, do the whatevers, but you could do those first if you wanted to. But what if we gated a lot of that stuff? Because you can kind of address like the Champions Ballad DLC in that way. Finish the game first. Here's the DLC.
Or like you beat Ganon and then like a bunch of even harder shrines open up or something.
Exactly. Yeah. That kind of idea.
They didn't do that.
They didn't do that. They just like everything's available right off the bat, and it's like just go somewhere.
I mean, unless you
want to
do the thing of going and fighting Ganon first, which I tried to do, and I
Or-
don't know how you're supposed to do it. I got there.
Yeah.
I have I literally only did enough shrines to get one extra heart container, and I cannot hold enough items to kill. I can survive.
Yeah.
I can't seem to hold enough items to kill him.
Yeah, fair.
But I mean, or like challenge modes and stuff are
Exactly.
often in game content. But anyway, I like that. I like this in particular because Diablo is known as a game for being a very end game heavy game.
Yeah.
This idea that like beating the game is great and all.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do next?
You're going to spend more time in the post game, and that's
Which is, and I appreciate though that this is, at least in its current state, we're not talking like live services kind of thing.
Right.
Like this is the game is out, it'll be there. They're saying there's going to have updates and cool new things, which is cool too. But the value proposition of the game is not predicated on those updates coming in the future.
No, it's
it's going to be a full game when it comes out.
Be excited. There will be more.
Yeah. So I like that. I can appreciate that.
I'm not going to play it but I will determine how good that game is based on how excited Adam gets about it.
That's fair.
That will be my rating system, and only that.
I would do unholy things for a Zelda-themed Diablo clone. I remember,
I mean, I might play it at that point.
I always talk about, like, way back in the day when Darksiders first came out.
Right.
It got a lot, Darksiders is a fun game, kind of silly.
Okay.
It's sort of it's got a bit of that, like, Warhammer, like,
Grimdark-ish.
grimdark to a silly
yeah,
extent.
okay,
and everybody is, like, wearing enormous suits of armor that are, whatever.
That they wouldn't fit in normally,
But
yeah.
one of the big criticisms against it was people were like, it's so derivative. They're like, it's basically just like God of War with Zelda in 3D.
Huh. Okay. But those are
And
both
it's-
good things.
And it's like, but if you just like, if somebody just came up to you and was like, hey, there's a game that's like Zelda but with the God of War combat and it's full 3D. Like, that's a great game. Like, that
sounds good.
That's
That sounds
solid.
fine, yeah.
And then it also has like a bit of Portal stuff, and it's like those are all great games.
Yeah. Saying something is
And,
derivative.
Saying that's it's like, yes, it's derivative. It's they went to really good games.
Didn't Diablo 3 for the Switch have
Ganon?
Ganon?
Yes, Ganondorf's in that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we have a copy. I think still in the Moonbase somewhere.
I mean, it's probably packed up now
Yeah,
because I think
probably.
James packed that portion.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Darksiders kind of went started changing directions in later ones. But anyway, I love. Well, I always remember when playing Darksiders. There's you get a thing where you can see all the treasure chests on the map. And I was in an area and I'm like, it says there's a treasure chest here, but I don't see any treasure chests. Huh? Weird. If this was Zelda, what would I do? I see that there are 3 torches that are not lit. I'm going to light these 3 torches. And sure enough, that's when the treasure chest appears.
There's a certain level of cliche for certain games that we're completely fine with accepting, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of like, because these are the mechanics that we find familiar with a certain
Like,
game.
yeah, cliche and mechanics that you recognize.
Yes.
Are sort of, I guess, close, but yeah.
But there's that idea of like in one style of game, or even in the Legend of Zelda, like again, come back to Breath of the
always
Wild.
check behind waterfalls.
Yeah, like come back to Breath of the Wild. It's like I walk up to an area and I see 3 bowls on the ground in front of 3 statues, and one of them has an apple in it, and then I see apple tree over there, and I go and grab the apples and I put them in the bowls, and I'm like, okay, cool. So then poof, I unlock a Korok, and those kind of things. It's like, oh, in Zelda, I accept that to be completely fine. And in probably some other adventure games, I might be good with that too. When you start seeing it crop up in games where you don't expect it, then you start to feel like, hey, wait a second, that's like a rip-off thing, or that doesn't belong here. That's not thematically appropriate. Like we have such a thing locked in our head of that this only belongs to this game or this style of game, and it's like it doesn't have to.
It's like this is actually just like pattern recognition. Yeah.
There is one thing every game has to do, though. If there is a waterfall, there better be things behind it.
Yes, always.
I've
Forever.
established. I've talked about this many times
Yeah.
while playing video games, and being frustrated that there are no things. That's the best thing about Tunic.
Even
Every waterfall has something behind it.
if you're gonna,
Spoilers for Tunic.
I even
check
like
behind every waterfall.
if there's a waterfall and you can like walk behind it, like even if there isn't really anything back there, but you can actually like walk behind the waterfall, I just even want to do that.
I just want at least like a sign that's like, no, we didn't put anything back here, but good try.
Yeah.
If you're making a video game, you're designing the world.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to put that waterfall there.
Yeah.
So things behind waterfalls, always be able to pet the dog, which they have not shown us that we can do in Tears of the Kingdom, and it's going to be so annoying when we can't.
Yeah.
Is there a dog in
There's dogs in Breath of the Wild. They
that you can't pet?
you can't pet them.
There's no interaction button. You can stand near them. You can
You can
crouch
feed them.
down. You can throw food on the ground and they'll eat it.
you
and
cannot
they'll love
pet
you.
them.
Yeah, but you can't actually interact and pet them.
So we got pet dogs, waterfalls, and every game should have a fishing mini game.
Yeah, there's that too.
I love in Assassin's Creed has a thing where Assassin's Creed Origins, you're in Egypt and there's cats around, and you can pet a cat. You can pet the cats, but you can put yourself in a position so that you can pet a cat.
Okay.
But petting a cat is not a thing you can actually actively do. You have to go near a cat and kneel down and wait. If you move, the cat will walk away.
I see.
But if you stay still, eventually a cat will come over to you and your character will start petting it. But if you touch any buttons, it stops.
You're done. Okay. I like that. That's very...
So it's like you can't actively pet the cat, but the cat can come to be petted by you.
That's really good. That's literally what it's like to have a cat.
That's
yeah.
a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially a cat you don't know. That's not used to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Speaking of something, there's no real good transition to this. Monster Energy Drink. Actually, considering I have Mountain Dew in this thing, I guess that's made me think. I was like, why am I thinking of Monster Energy Drink?
Are we putting caffeine in Mountain Dew these days still?
I don't think so.
Not
I
at
don't
all?
think-
No? Okay.
As far as I know, Canadian Mountain Dew still doesn't
Still
have
does
caffeine.
not. Okay.
I might be wrong about
I'm
that.
assuming
but-
the brown liquids law still applies, or whatever the hell the thing I was told in like elementary school still
Yeah.
applies. But
Yeah, I assume the world hasn't changed since I was in grade 2.
yeah, orange margarine.
Anyway, remember old Tim Langell? Tim Langell, Mr. Edge Gaming.
No, the name
who-
sounds so familiar, but really,
So he was famously he had a company called like Edge Game Networks or something.
okay.
And he would famously sue anybody that had the word Edge in their name, including like Mirror's Edge, any other games that had they never actually made any games.
Great.
And so then somebody made us a game called Edgy McEdgerson's Hedge Edger, which is a solid
Kind of burn.
It was a run. It was a infinite runner
Oh, okay. Okay.
where you hedge edges.
That's good.
Anyway, Monster Energy Drink has apparently been going around doing similar things.
Hedging edges?
Has been getting mad at anybody who has the word monster in the monster in the name of the game.
Right.
Because-
How's that fare on Monster Hunter?
This is like the Banner Saga and like Candy Crush Saga kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, apparently
But
they
it's-
haven't. Maybe Monster Hunter is too big, so they haven't. So they haven't poked that one. Glowstick Entertainment, who did a game called Dark Deception: Monsters and Mortals, is being got in trouble with them. They also. Who all else did they come after? Oh, right. That's why Immortals Phoenix Rising is called Immortals Phoenix
Yeah.
Rising.
Oh,
it was
right.
going to be
Originally.
called Gods and Monsters.
Right.
Yeah.
And
They definitely picked some interesting targets, right? Because somebody mentioned Monster Prom, and that just, as an indie, kind of skated
Yeah.
under the
But
radar.
also, again, Monster Hunter.
yeah.
Huge
Yeah.
franchise.
Yeah. And you think that, like, Capcom or Ubisoft, and
you
it-
think it would be so? I mean,
They're big.
Monsters owned by Coke,
yeah.
Coca-Cola. So I mean, they're big, but it seems like an odd.
It seems weird which ones they decide to go after.
I gotta see how big Coca-Cola Company is in terms of being a company. That sucks though that they're continuing on their terrible purpose.
So this is there's a Twitter thread from Vincent Livings, who is the CEO of Glowstick Entertainment, and saying these are the overreaching settlement terms that Monster Energy sent us. Basically, it demands that in exchange for allowing us to use the name Monsters and Mortals, we have to agree to never name any other game a variation of the word monster. And
Variation.
and also forces us to agree to never use a green and white logo on a black background for any game we make.
Is their logo even
Wow.
anything like that?
No.
Yeah, okay.
and they say, and apparently there's an update to this story. We are currently in the process. This is from Vince Livings. We are currently in the process of filing a motion for summary judgment to stop Monster Energy's legal team from dragging this process out even longer and draining our financial resources. So we'll see what happens with that. But it is such a dumb. The idea, like, I mean, I guess maybe I could see that maybe Monster has like some connection to a video game or two, in the same way that like Burger King had their like Burger King Sneak King video games.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole point of like trying to sue companies for a thing is for consumer confusion.
Yeah,
and a video game.
What? I can't drink this video game.
In the title is not really consumer confusion.
Yeah, like the idea that they would, I guess, or it's not even that. It's like that somehow they would make people think that the Monster Energy drink was endorsing this game. I guess. I don't know. Anyway, silly stuff.
It's just they don't have enough things to do, so they just randomly decide lawsuits.
Speaking of people trying to get money for things, EverQuest.
They're
Still
pay-to-play product, yeah.
EverQuest 2.
Ah, good.
The new EverQuest, which is also has been around for a very, very long time.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Good. Glad to know that.
Yes, EverQuest 2 is almost 20 years old. And then it's it's when the adjective used to describe your MMO is venerable. That's how you know that it's getting a little old.
Yeah, wizened maybe would have been good too. Like, you know.
Anyway, last month they introduced a new kind of loot box to the game.
Okay.
So
they may be old, but they know how to get with the cool kids.
Advanced loot box technology. Oh my god.
They're called the new loot boxes were called Libent Evernight Heritage Crates.
Well, I like that term better than loot box.
I think that should be the name for loot boxes, just for like every loot box.
Heritage crates.
Heritage crates.
Libent Evernight Heritage Crates.
All right. Yep.
So they could one of the things that you could get from them could bypass lockouts and provide chances to buy more opportunities to raid at raid gear. So fans quickly called them pay-to-raid items.
Yeah.
Which took to the game's forums. I like this. The snark from this Kotaku article. It says, they took to the game's forums, which look as old as the game itself, to comply. Why do you have to throw shade on just forums in general?
Yeah.
That's kind of mean, Kotaku. Yeah. You know what?
I like forums.
Some people forums are. I think
better.
Forums are better than some other things.
Like Discord.
Other things that people use to communicate now. Anyway.
Discord's fine, but
so the developer Daybreak had instantly or almost instantly backtracked on the decision, saying, after listening to your feedback and having lots of discussions, we have decided to pull the Libent Evernight Heritage Crate from the in-game marketplace store. The crate and most of its current contents will no longer be for sale. We heard you and understand there were particular elements of the Libent Heritage Crate that run counter to our shared values. We will no longer be making these types of items available. I always love that marketing line, runs counter to our shared values. It's like it runs counter to the values that we have just now realized are our shared values. We previously did not realize that we shared these values, but our marketing department has told us that these are now our values.
Well, we got yelled at.
Yeah.
and we didn't like it.
In the spirit of community feedback, they will now be opening a dedicated forum where players can weigh in on stuff like balance changes before they go live.
Oh no.
New class balance forums for EverQuest 2. We want you, the community, the people who play these classes, to help them decide what balance changes and bug fixes to prioritize with major updates.
You think it's hard for us to fuck up our game? Then you fuck up our game.
I mean, there's always the thing of like, hey, we're going to open up forums and stuff. And then they'll be like, okay, we're going to release these new loot box crates. And everyone will be like, this is a terrible thing. Don't do this. Don't do this. And then they release the crates anyway.
Yeah.
And they're like, we listened to your feedback.
Yeah.
We decided we were going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
This is how the process works.
Listening to feedback does not necessarily result in a
Yeah,
change in decision.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not, it's like, we understand that you don't like this, but we're going to do it.
There better be this is what the HTML blink tag is for, Paul, is that if people go to that forum and are like, I can weigh in here to say that my elven archer should have should have plus 25% attack damage and also bigger tits, then it's like, there should be a thing at the top that says, we may not do what you ask. This is for suggestions only.
Of course, and then problem with the forums, of course, is then people will post, the classified military documents on how this sword is supposed to work, and then they'll get in trouble.
But that sword's from 20 years ago. Doesn't everybody know about having those documents been declassified by this point?
Oh my god. I think that this Mithril Knight should do at least 10% more. Because
no.
reason with whatever this and this is the text of this is this. I've unlocked secret documents from.
I wish Juliamon's saying ever overcorrect the other direction so hard you crash on the left. I wish that unfortunately the terms left and right have meaning, have specific meaning.
Beyond political?
No, in the political sphere.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I wish that we could in the context that the idea of you overcorrecting and crashing on the left, in reference to like desert bus.
Exactly. Yeah.
I wish that could be like become a meme, but I feel like the fact that left has another has the other connotation would distort it and not make it not work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you are a big EverQuest 2 fan, get in on those forums and make your voice heard, I guess.
Yeah.
Or save yourself so much heartache.
And just don't.
And just stay away from that place.
I mean, in a way, like given how long EverQuest has been around for, that I'm sure they've probably ground through enough people that's like only the people who are the truly hardcore have stuck around and have maybe actually formed a bit of a community. Like it actually felt like we have formed a very comfortable kind of tribe unto ourselves, and we realize we want what's best for the game, so we will actually have serious discussions.
It's true. Like I feel like there probably aren't a lot of casual EverQuest 2 players deeply invested that are like big, right? Like the deeply invested people are going to be like the main drivers of stuff.
You're not going to have people there who need to get their screamies out.
I mean, the deeply invested players still will, may have, in fact, are probably more likely to have extremely strong opinions about certain things.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
You get the Rune. Was it RuneQuest? No,
RuneScape.
RuneScape, and then you have like old school RuneScape. Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things though that's like, if you, I feel like, God, I want to think of the rest way to put it. It's like if you put these people in a jar and you shake it, then
they all die.
Well,
if you put people in a jar, you shake it. I'm pretty sure they all die.
The Bige's trademark metaphors that are actually not a great idea.
Analogies that are
maybe
that don't
not
work.
something you want to repeat.
It's breaking down as I build it. So I don't know. I
put them in a jar and shake it. Do you open that jar?
I would have faith that the people who would be like the people playing the game have been around long enough that they're like, okay, we all get that balance for this game has to be important, and and you're not going to have like somebody who wants to come in and like and freak everybody out with their like I have very strident whatever's. It's like, yeah, probably not. The chances that are lower. Oh, there was like I think there's a reason why my brain brought up jars, and I can't remember what it is. So let's move on.
Okay.
I'm excited to find out later.
Oh, me too. You have no idea how much.
Is it because we bought that fancy mustard? And it comes in a jar?
I bought 2 more of those.
Yay.
Yeah, I got the last 2 jars.
Nice.
Think you're so fancy with your jar mustard.
We're going to have to get more bread soon.
Glass jar, plastic top. Very weird feeling. I expected glass jar, metal top, but glass jar, plastic top.
Anyway. Super Mario Brothers movie came out.
Wait.
Like 2 days ago.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I guess.
On the
Great.
5th. On the 5th.
It is
Today's the 7th. Yeah.
Fucking approved.
It's been getting I guess you'd call it mixed reviews, although the mixed in the sense of it's sort of the sort of bimodal reviews in the sense of it seems like movie reviewers are not rating it very highly, but audiences are rating it quite highly.
That's good.
I would guess I would venture to guess that it probably is similar to how other Illumination Entertainment movies have done, like the Minions movie or whatever.
Despicable Me and all that.
Yeah, where it's like, it's obviously it is meant for kids, and it's got lots of fun, bright colors and cool things going on, but there's not a lot of like substantial story there.
And part of
which is
Mario substantial story. That's what I play those games.
Not a lot
for.
of substantial story to Mario games necessarily, so it's not necessarily that far off.
We kind of have a continuum when it comes to. I know we want to get into that, but just in the terms of like animation studios and the stuff that gets made, like in the bigger ones too, right? The ones who are making like a lot of DreamWorks and Illumination, of course, Pixar and Disney, and when you kind of put them in a jar. No, okay. Anyway. If you were to line them up on a line of terms of like artistry to commercialism, like that kind of thing of like what are we making, right? And it's like everyone always looks to Pixar to be like, well, whatever you watch, I better feel a little bit sad at a certain point in the film. Like give me a narrative arc that has me experiencing some feelings over the thing. You want to feel that, for what's going on. Whereas as you kind of work your way down the line, it feels like you get very much close towards Minions on the other end of the spectrum. And there's probably other studios that go even further beyond that.
Are you saying that you weren't a little sad watching Minions?
I've never seen Minions.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Okay. Or the sequel to the sequel.
Some deeply emotional. I mean, I'm deeply emotional stuff that happened with the little yellow guys.
Despicable Me.
Yeah, I was going to say
different.
Because I haven't seen the Minions movies, but I've seen the Despicable Me movies, and those are pretty okay.
There's only one Minion movie, movie, I think.
Yeah, but I'm sure they've.
But there's 3 Despicable Me's.
Yeah, there's 3, and then they spun off the Minions. Anyway,
but it's that idea of like where do you put a studio and where do you put the stuff that they develop and how does it fit into the overall whatever? And I don't feel like anybody was looking for the Super Mario Brothers movie to be a tour de force of emotional.
No.
It's basically like this is a commercial movie based on a property. It's meant, and Mario's always meant to be fun. It's meant to be light. It's meant to be action packed, and it's like
from what I understand, it doesn't have a lot of depth, but it wasn't supposed to.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of the actors do good job. One review I was reading was complimenting, was saying it's a shame that Luigi didn't get more screen time because the actor that played Luigi was great.
Charlie Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw one that was like it would have been nice if Mario and Luigi had been able to interact more together as well because they are brothers.
Anyway. But the best thing for me anyway. So, it sounds like a fun... I'll probably watch it when it comes out on streaming platforms.
I am largely uninterested in it, but we'll see what happens.
Well,
in
I
like a
mean,
month or
eventually
two.
I got you to watch the Sonic movies with me, so
Yeah.
I assume one day we'll be really bored and that movie will be there
You
and we'll
hadn't
watch
seen
it.
them yet either, so we both went in kind of blind. Like,
Yeah,
we
that
were
was
like,
the point.
Yeah, it's like, let's actually watch this.
I wasn't gonna. Okay, if I had already watched the Sonic movies, I wouldn't have suggested we would watch the Sonic movies.
Mm-hmm. But what's funnier about the reviews of the Mario Brothers movie is that you can really see who's writing them based on what's going on in the article.
I also kind of like, you know, in the same way that, like, you know, when the sequel trilogy Star Wars movies came out,
Yeah.
everyone started being like, was the prequel trilogy that bad?
Yeah.
And I've seen some legitimate things about nostalgia for back to the original Mario Brothers with Bob Hoskins,
Yeah, absolutely.
John Leguizamo.
Because you're
And-
absolutely you're going to see that because there's going to be people who of a certain age went and watched. I mean, I was of the certain age when the original Mario, the live action Mario Brothers movie came out, and I even have the little motion comic or not the motion comic, the live action
And Dennis Hopper.
little comic booky kind of thing that was like spelled out what goes on in the movie, but I never had any great compunction to see it either.
Which, from what I remember, you know, being entertained by it when I was a kid.
Okay.
And from what I understand, that you know, again, didn't do very well critically.
No.
Kids liked it.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Fulfilling its intention.
Yeah.
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 But
I
anyway,
mean, generally, I think when it comes to movies that are for kids, as long as kids are having fun, and the parents who have to go watch the movie with them can have an mildly entertaining time,
yeah, unfortunately,
you're winning.
yeah. Unfortunately, for parents, I think the big thing is, like, is the movie still watchable the 10th time through?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 20th time through.
Just some of the things, like I saw somebody post a chunk of a review where they made reference to Bowser being like Lionel Barrymore.
Who's that?
Yes. Right? That kind of idea of who was writing this thing. Lionel Barrymore, I'm going to assume, is Drew Barrymore's dad or grandfather. I don't actually know for sure. But he's a big name actor from the era in which he was an actor, which is
But is that era even remotely recent?
or like relevant
Or
to the
from
kids who are
30
going to go
years
see it
ago?
today. What does that have to do with any of that?
Is that a
right?
reference the adults would even understand?
Also, I saw a CTV News review where the headline written on their website was, "The Mario movie functions about as well as an unplugged Game Boy." To which I was like, you don't fucking plug in a Game Boy.
No,
they
you
run on
don't.
batteries.
That's
So
like-
what are you trying to say?
I guess they didn't want to say, like, an unplugged Nintendo.
Yeah.
But that would have, That's
Just-
one of those headlines that, like, sounds like you're being super cool, and
Yeah.
then you're like, wait a minute, no, that doesn't work.
You sound like an idiot because it doesn't make any sense. So by and large, I'm just like, the reviews being written by
Yeah, so
people
it's-
who don't get any of this shit.
Lionel Barrymore
it's
died
like-
in 1954? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
no, who the heck is that reference for? What 80-year-old is reading this article?
You'd have to have watched stuff that he was in way back in the day, and I'm like, the kids don't care.
I guess it's like when you know, there's the thing where when news programs would do stories about Desert Bus,
Yeah.
and it would always be like the new, you know, there'd be like the little like 5 or 10 minute like package about Desert Bus. Then we'd go back to the anchors being like, oh, I used to play Tetris.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go on. It's like that was like the touchstone they had to like.
Did you ever play an Atari?
Here's a
me
video
too.
game, yeah.
My kids had an Atari.
Wasn't there something you said where you were like, you read a thing where someone said they'd never heard of Tetris until the Tetris movie got brought up?
Yeah.
And we
Was there-
both agreed that seemed impossible.
Yeah, it's like a random 20-year-old who I thought was writing for Kotaku or something like that, and they were like, what is this Tetris? And I'm kind of like, I think you're either lying or you shouldn't be writing video game news.
Yeah, like Tetris, like there's been 3 or 4 new Tetris versions.
Effect didn't even come out that
yeah.
long
Yeah,
ago.
that have come out in the
Tetris
last 5
99
years.
was
Yeah.
a big thing that made news splashes.
And maybe that seems like a little bit outsized for me to be like, oh, you haven't heard of a video game. I'm like, this isn't, you haven't heard of a video game. You haven't heard of the video game. Like, and I know there's people who are like, I've never seen Star Wars. I'm like, yeah, but you fucking heard of it, haven't you? Like,
Right,
you know that it's out there.
that it exists.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's just a weird thing to see in the stage of if you're writing gaming articles. This thing is
also, if this is, like,
several
your business.
iterations. Like I don't like.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Yeah, way to tell on
May-
yourself.
I
That's
mean-
kind of how I felt.
I mean, maybe it was the thing where they were like, they went and found somebody to write, to get a, like, we need the perspective of somebody who doesn't know what Tetris is.
Sure.
Where will we find this person?
But that's not even my mom. Like, my mom is better at Tetris than I am. Like, and she's in her 70s. Like,
Anyway.
how did the Mario movie go?
My favorite thing about the Mario movie, though,
Uh-huh.
is that for the red carpet in the premiere, all the voice actors came in. What's it called? What's the like Disney?
Disney bounding.
Yeah, sort of the like they all came in like
Colors.
cosplay, but actually stylish.
Yes.
for the different
Oh,
characters.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Cosplay that's reminiscent of the characters, but is not actually a full cosplay
and-
of that character.
Yeah, in
Which, I mean,
Disney parks they call it Disney bounding.
they-
In other places they have not really a name
There's-
for it yet.
I mean, some of them are more than others, but here's
Anna Taylor-Joy?
Anna Taylor-Joy as
I mean,
Peach.
that's the
That's the racing outfit.
Yeah,
kind of,
I mean
yeah.
that's more straight up cosplay.
Yeah.
But my favorite one is definitely Jack Black, who's got he's wearing like
yeah.
a tux with the flame thing,
that's
and
pretty
then the
cool.
back of the tux has the little points on it.
That'd be hard to sit in a chair all night, but sure. I love the shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Shoes kick ass. Oh, and the accents and all the cuffs.
I mean, to be honest, I'd be disappointed if Jack Black showed up without something fancy.
I definitely like. God, this is good because I definitely want to start rocking clothing like that. Like whenever we do a formal thing, I would definitely dress up in a
As
thing like
Miyamoto.
that. Even if it wasn't the.
I mean, wouldn't
spines.
you? I'd wanna.
Yeah.
I'd wanna see that. Yeah.
Hey.
Miyamoto cosplaying is just. I feel like he's cosplaying as Mario Brothers as a whole.
The movie. Yeah, the whole movie.
Miyamoto went to the store and was like, I want the Mario Brothers movie costume.
Right.
And then it's just the t-shirt with the word Mario Brothers on it.
And they gave him a mask. He's like, if I wear that, people will think it's weird. I'm like, right.
Then you've got
Okay, they've
Chris
gone
Pratt
with
and Charlie Day.
Charlie
That's
Day
good.
as
With the
like
suits,
the
yeah.
super swank
Mm-hmm.
Mario and Luigi, which I just like the sort of cool subtleness
Yeah.
of doing it like that.
I like that too. I mean, I have a suit that color, and I should try to wear it some more. I really like it.
So anyway, I just like that. I think more. There's I saw a thing that what was the somebody they were
Just in reference
they were
to the
talking
band?
about or that Jenna Ortega was basically dressing as Wednesday for
Yeah.
thing. Like I love the idea of people dressing not necessarily in costume as their character, but like reminiscent of their character
Yeah.
for the red carpet thing. I think that's a fun thing to do.
I like that too. Because then you're kind of like saying, I get it, and it's kind of fun to do this, and
Yeah.
yeah, I like that. Get Keegan-Michael Key dressed up as
Yeah, did he could have just like worn a cool hat,
yeah.
like a spotted hat.
Yeah, I think you can buy them now.
All right. There's a new hero coming to Overwatch 2. There's a new hero coming to Overwatch 2.
The sequel.
Oh, right. This is the thing where we heard
second
that
Overwatch.
they might completely blow open the balance of the game or something.
It might.
Well, there's a lot of whatever.
I mean-
they should have a forum where you can talk about that.
Every time you introduce a new thing, the balance of the game might go out the window.
It's a fair.
But this is part of the whole Overwatch 2 going into the like live service thing where they're updating it with they're like releasing new heroes and stuff. So he's quite the
handsome.
yeah, quite the because Overwatch was totally lacking for beautiful people.
Yeah. Model one on my face. Give everyone the real kind of Pedro Pascal dad look. That's what they need.
His name is Life Weaver.
And his friends call him Doug.
I mean that's his that's his
Class?
combat, like his name in the game.
Right, yeah, his call sign.
Right, his
Yeah.
call sign. Yeah,
Oh,
everyone has
okay.
their call sign and then their
Code
actual
name.
their
Yeah,
code
yeah.
their code name. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he will be able to. So what I think is interesting here, so he can heal his teammates. So he's a support character, so he's a healing and stuff, which is kind of interesting. He'll be able to heal his teammates. He can make his ultimate, like makes like a big tree that heals everybody and also protects you from anything.
Yeah, so kind
above.
of like a tree of life thing.
Loving sacrifice, yeah.
That's an
The-
anime.
Now this one, the other ability he has, which I think is possibly going to be a problem, but I think will result in hilarity, is one of his other special moves is called Life Grip, which is supposed to be you can grab your ally
Okay.
and pull them out of danger.
Okay.
Oh, it's like a Fire Emblem teleport.
That's neat. All right.
Considering how angry people, like how much problems in Overwatch you get from, like, say
Yelling at the healer for not healing you?
or people like May putting like an ice shield where the rest of her team wasn't expecting there to be an ice shield, and
Right.
so they're blocking their line of sight.
Right.
Or all like coordination within a team
Yes.
can be quite different, especially if you're playing with like randos.
Yes.
In Overwatch can be a big problem. So somebody on your own, like, because there's an offensive ability that Junkrat has. There's a
Okay.
Junkrat who's got he's got a get over here sort
Okay.
of a hook.
Right.
That's an offensive ability that the opponent is going to do to you.
Right.
But this is supposed to be like a positive thing.
Right.
It's like a healing thing and pull you out of danger
It's a
thing.
command grab friendship. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the chances, without very good communication within your team, which could be a problem, I feel like the chances of this being not appreciated by the person who's suddenly being pulled where they didn't know they were going to be.
Accidentally pull a teammate out who just had the perfect headshot
Yeah.
Yeah.
lined up.
I
Saving
think
the wrong person.
it definitely is going to be one of those things where it's like there'll be somebody that they can you'll probably do this in pairs, right? Somebody will play Lifeweaver and somebody will play like another character, and they'll find a way to kind of do this. Is like, I'm going to get into some situations and I need you to yank me back from doing the thing, because that'll be completely unexpected for the other side. And
Like
if you
I-
have a combo playing, two people playing that kind of thing, you might have some really good push and pull from that.
Like I can imagine there could be some super cool moves
Yeah.
with it, but I'm also I can envision somebody coming up making like a YouTube montage of
The 20
Lifeweaver,
best.
Lifeweaver messing up plays,
Yeah.
but he is a sci-fi druid type.
Ah,
Okay.
all right. He's got them big floaty wings behind him.
Yeah.
I think it's a blossom
He is
or something.
Yeah, he has a Thai background. And which is where they sort of get the blossom, lotus flower and stuff that he's got behind. He apparently he went to he went to school with Symmetra, who's one of the other characters. And he's all about he's invented this new kind of technology called BioLight,
Okay.
which is it's healing and nature and stuff,
right.
which also coincidentally shooting other people.
Yes.
So-
Healing in nature and killing people.
So if he went to school with Symmetra, Symmetra has all the good dirt on him.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Or they were best buddies. And that's
Oh,
just
apparently
great.
he was roommates with Symmetra.
Oh, well, definitely has all the dirt
Yeah.
on this Lotus.
So anyway, if you want, if you want to play a extremely pretty man who is a support character, that's cool. From what I understand, I think having more support characters is something that Overwatch 2 was lacking. So, or Overwatch was lacking. So, anyway.
Just love all the. Oh my God, they were roommates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Join the chat memes.
I mean, apparently, it's also, they have said, just to get out ahead of the thing.
Sure.
They have, even before he's been officially released, they
Right.
have confirmed that he is pansexual.
Ah. All right.
So
Just gonna lay that
go
down
nuts
right now.
with whatever you want to do.
Yep. Every character's fair game now. Yeah. I can't wait for next year's dating sim.
Arc 2, which
Is the sequel to Ark?
the sequel to Arc Survival Evolved.
Great.
Is going to be has been delayed
Uh-huh.
to the end of 2024, which is a shame. But in compensation, I guess, Studio Wildcard, the people who make Ark Survival Evolved, have said that they are going to, because they've been working on Ark Survival Ascended, which is the next-gen remaster of Ark Survival Evolved.
Oh, I
Is it
see.
really compensation if you have to rebuy your old games again?
Running on running on Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, so the thing that is annoying has people make people kind of annoyed about this is one, they initially implied that this was going to be a free upgrade, and it is not.
Ah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
hard when you do stuff like that. That's fair.
The remaster will be different. It'll cost different amounts depending on the platform, but PC, Xbox, $50.
Whoa. Okay.
Oh no, can purchase right? No. It's one of these weird things. They for $50.
Here we go.
For $50 on PC and Xbox, you can get the Ark Respawn bundle, which gives you Ark Survival Ascended and Ark 2 when it comes out.
Whoa. Holy shit.
Okay.
Okay.
On PS5, you can get Ark Survival Ascended by itself for $40 when it comes, or for $40. I don't know why PS5 people don't get the bundle, but there it is.
Okay.
Maybe Sony is not cool with people selling games that haven't come out yet.
This is that. Wait, you didn't say for the other bundle PS4. You just said PC and Xbox.
PC, Xbox.
PC, Xbox. Okay, and then Sony has their own little thing that they do. Okay.
Seems
to me like Sony needs to complain to the courts about Ark not giving them the better deal.
They're also...
I'm just trying to start some shit.
So, there's also a bunch of expansions for Survival, or Ark Survival Evolved.
Okay.
And Survival Ascended will also have those expansions available for a cost. So, coming out Q1 2024 will be the Explorer's Pass, which will give you the Scorched Earth and Aberration and Extinction expansions, DLC.
Okay.
And the Genesis Pass, which also costs $20, will include Genesis Part 1 and Genesis Part 2. So these are things that are already, I believe the idea here is those DLC are already available for Survival Evolved, like they're
The original game,
the original game.
not the remake.
Yeah. And so when they bring the and they were paid expansions for the real game,
Right.
For the first game or the original game.
Okay.
So they're bringing out the remaster and then also going to remaster the DLC and also going to charge you for the remastered DLC,
Okay.
which is kind of shitty.
But yeah, definitely not this. They're not doing this as kind of a Game of the Year edition, kind of like let's cram everything together and make a brand new version of this. They're like, well, technically, we're giving you a nicer looking, better operating something or other, however you want to think it, as a remake. And so therefore, you can think of it like you would if you bought the original game, that you're getting the just the better version of the original game. The more high, not say better, let's say higher spec. You're getting the higher spec version of the original game, which would also mean you're buying higher spec versions of the DLC as well. And I agree, it is kind of shitty, but also it in a way it's also like I completely understand that, because if you didn't do a remake, then the value of buying the things makes sense, because it's like the new remake doesn't necessarily have to have all the DLC in it. But it would feel like it's a bit more of an impetus to try to drive people towards getting, if you're like, okay, it's $50 for this, but it's also...
But like theoretically, the whole thing with these remasters, right, is theoretically you're not, you don't have to build all the levels and everything. Like you're doing all the graphics and everything again, and you're using a better engine and stuff. But theoretically, a lot of the work has already been done.
Yeah.
My understanding was that they were also, like, you wouldn't be able to play Arc 1.
So this is the second part of it.
You have to buy the remaster.
It's okay, if you don't want to spend all this money to get the new fancy version.
I can just keep playing the old version.
You play the old version until August.
Okay. All right.
Because in August they're going to be shutting down the servers for the old version.
Okay, feel a little weirder about this whole thing
See?
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, if the intention was, boy, that's weird, right? Because on the one hand, it's like, well, the intention was always to bring out Arc 2 by this point, and we would want to encourage everyone to buy Arc 2. It's like Destiny, right? It's like, we want to encourage everybody to move on to the next product, not play the old product anymore. I kind of get that. You need to keep your development studio alive. You need to keep generating money, like that kind of idea. But when your game is late, and then you say, we're still going to shut down the servers, I'm like, oh, I don't know, my guy.
How would you feel...
that feels pretty bad.
If they told you Tears of the Kingdom is being delayed for like almost maybe another year and a half.
Yeah.
And but don't worry, we're gonna do a remastered version of Breath of the Wild that'll come out very soon. But also, you won't be able to play your original Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. It's like, but I already paid for the game. I want to be able to keep playing the game.
It's old though. It's going away now.
And I mean, we were talking about Overwatch 2.
Yes.
And that's basically what they did as well, right? They did the thing where they brought out Overwatch 2 and killed the Overwatch 1 servers.
Yeah, they killed Overwatch 1, but Overwatch 2 was at least free to play.
Yeah, it's true.
The problem with it was the whole phone number thing.
Yes.
Yeah, there was the whole
that was where that anger came from.
But it's such a weird feeling, right? To be like, well, if you want to keep playing the game that you've already paid for, you actually can't. You have to buy the remake version of the game that you already paid for. Don't worry, we'll let you, if you're on Xbox, we'll let you just have Arc 2 when it comes out. So it's like you're prepaying for it.
Yeah.
Man, it's such complicated feelings, because I'm like, I am getting a better version of the game that I already have, and then I also get to get the other game for free if they stick to that.
Yeah.
So apparently, as people pointed out, Arc does have a fairly robust sort of alternate like you can either self-host servers.
Oh, okay.
Or you can have, or there's like you can play on non-official servers. So theoretically, those will still be around.
Yeah.
So that's good. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
I guess
it's not a great look.
I guess the worst, like, there are worse ways to do this, and I'm sure this is one of those things where they were like, what's the ideal thing from the player perspective? Well, we put the remake out for free, we put the DLC out for free, and we let them continue to play everything on we say you just move yourself to the new version completely. It's all free. and we're gonna the
You
old
have to have
clients.
some sort of save file move over.
Yeah, the old
thing,
clients
I
aren't
guess.
going to run anymore because we're going to shut down the servers and we're going to set up new servers to run the remake version of this only. So everyone has to move to the new version, which is basically just getting a massive update is what you're getting, right? You're
Yeah.
just getting a massive free update for the thing you've already paid for. And you could do that, and that would really mitigate a lot of those problems. And you just
It
push
would
Arc
be-
2 off to the future,
It
like
would be
pay for
kind
Arc
of,
2 when you're ready.
If you can do that,
Yeah.
if you like, basically you're just making a remaster kind of an update
Yeah.
to the first one while this other one is delayed. What the ideal of what you're doing there is you're rewarding the long-term fan
Yeah.
who is eagerly waiting for your sequel.
And you're hoping for them to come back.
Yeah.
Exactly. And what's funny about that is it's like thinking about what the player wants. I mean, let's be honest. What anybody wants is, I want to free this, and I want it free, and I want no strings attached. That's kind of like what it comes down to. You just want a thing, and you don't want to have any. I'm not even talking about video games. I'm talking about a fucking car. If somebody comes up to me like, "I'll give you this electric car," and like, "What do I have to do for it?" It's like, you just get it. Congratulations, right? You won the car lottery.
Download a car.
Right? It's like, you get a car.
Yes,
Or
I would.
I'm gonna install. I'm gonna spend $3 billion and put a train from here to the airport. You know, like that kind of thing. And it's like, you get to ride it, and it's like, that sounds awesome too. What do I have to do for it? It's like, you just have to ride it whenever you want to. Like, I'm just talking about the idea of like, what do we as people want? We just want shit for free, and we don't want to have to think about it. So let's walk back from that. That as somebody who is having to put effort into making a product in the first place, what do we want as somebody who's creating a product? Well, I want to be compensated in a way that allows me to continue to live my life, because money is money. That's why they call it money. And this development studio probably needs some money. That's where I'm coming down to this, is that they are like, we need a hot cash injection, and if we don't get you to give us some money now, we might not ever be able to come out with Arc 2.
Who's Arc made by?
It is made by Studio Wildcard.
And
There's, I have seen takes on this that basically that this is to fund Arc 2.
yes,
I mean, Arc is also fairly famous for being not one of the. I don't know if it's the original, but it's a very high profile game that is, at least it was in early access forever.
yeah,
And brought out paid DLC while still in early access,
which is a very weird look. Yeah,
yeah, which was a shall we say raise some eyebrows.
yeah, because it's. A studio's never going to say, like, a studio never really comes out and takes and like hat in hand to mean like, we know you like our game that's in early access, we know you've paid for it and whatever, we need more money to keep funding the development of this. The only one who's really done that so far is Star Citizen. Let's be honest. They're the only ones who've been like, hey, we just need more money to keep making this. Just give me like 10 more lanes of money. That's all I need. And eventually, maybe you'll get a game. And I'm being a little unfair, obviously. But I think it's.
We have a long history of dunking on Star Citizen.
It's true. Yeah. But I feel like this is kind of the thing. If it was more positioned as like, hey, look, guys, to continue development of Arc 2, we're kind of hitting a point where if we don't continue to bring if we can't bring in more players, then we have to ask you to. We were expecting to have it out now so we could afford to pay everybody. We're not saying that Arc 2 is going to, like, the studio's going to go under, or that Arc 2 is not going to get made. It's just going to be more complicated for us to do that. But if we can do it this way, you're essentially pre-ordering Arc 2 by giving us the money now and then having to wait like a year and a half.
Yeah,
it's kind of a weird Kickstarter kind of idea.
And it's definitely, it's not. There is a certain. It feels a little dangerous in the sense that, by the time Arc 2 comes out, now you're out of money again.
Yep.
Because you're not selling any copies of Arc 2 because you've already pre-sold all those. Money's already gone and spent. Unless Arc 2 is a lot more popular than Arc 1 was.
Yeah.
Then you get into a kind of a nasty, almost, the sort of constantly raising money for the next thing and using that money to pay for the current thing.
Because otherwise the studio folds and you're like, we don't have money to pay people to do maintenance on this product anymore.
Yeah.
And this is all speculation, obviously.
Yeah.
We don't know if that's what's going on or not.
I take issue with the idea that people necessarily want only free things.
I think I think
I know where you're coming from
Yeah.
on that, but I still think it's a little crummy to be like, well, and you can't just play the version you have.
yes.
Like any game that typically has servers or whatever
Yeah.
that need to be maintained has a subscription fee model or something in place.
Yeah.
So
Which Arc does not, I believe. But
why
I do.
why force a thing? A lot of people will probably just buy a remake.
In their defense, though, I appreciate that you can play it local single player or using third party or
Third-party
unofficial
server.
servers
Right, yeah.
and other kinds of things. So they are there's a lot of online server based games that maintain a stranglehold on the market, on the server market, such that they're the only ones who can do it. Or if there are third party servers to like weird hack things. This is there is official ways to make your own servers for it.
Right.
You can't obviously you're playing with whoever else is on that server. I guess it's a little bit like Minecraft or something like that. Right?
Yeah.
You're sort of, there can be local servers or doing whatever you want. But anyway,
That arc is over, and we can start this
there
new
you go.
arc.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Devolver Digital has announced that it's acquired Doinksoft.
I don't know who they are.
They're the developers behind Gato Roboto.
I've heard of that.
And Gumbrella.
I've heard of that too.
Gumbrella's not out yet, I believe.
But I have
Yes,
heard
the
of
upcoming
It's that-
Gumbrella.
Tetris.
That was a game that I think they announced during Devolver Digital presentation. I want to say or maybe it was an indie direct.
But it is now. It's something they not
they
just that
acquired the
Devolver is like
developer.
publishing Doinksoft. They have now acquired Doinksoft.
Yes, they were previously. I believe they previously published all of Doinksoft's games, and it was a thing where it was like, why don't we just own you? I mean, there is a thing, like, I remember, I think there was a review that Yahtzee was reviewing, Zero Punctuation was reviewing some game, and he was like, and here's this game, this game, published by Devolver Digital, because of course, like, if I forget what game, I think it was Headlander.
yeah.
Anyway, it's like, if there's like a kind of weird mechanic game, often with like striking color palettes. It's like, if Devolver Digital isn't publishing this game, they'll find who is publishing the game and buy it,
Yeah.
or whatever. It's like Devolver Digital has they have a certain
They have a very,
niche,
Yeah.
they have a very specific kind of game they tend to publish.
which is they publish lots of eclectic things, but in that weird way that you sometimes get to, by publishing lots of different weird things. It turns out that your thing is publishing weird different things.
Yeah, like attracts like, it's like
You always you end up with a theme whether you
But
want one or not.
The fact that people will see a game and be like, I bet that's a Devolver Digital game, and it turns out it is, is strong branding for them.
Yeah.
Also, Gato Roboto is probably a game that you would enjoy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
I think Gato Roboto is one of those games that I own inadvertently from like a Epic giveaway or a like Prime giveaway at some point. I should try it out.
Your cat in a robot suit.
I mean, that's already pretty solid.
I mean,
I think it's a Metroidvania?
I was looking at the picture here, and it looked like, I can see the cat is inside a robot suit. And now I look at it more, I'm like, no, the cat is standing on the gun on its own robot suit, I'm guessing. And I'm like, why did I think the cat was in the robot suit? And then you said, it's about a cat in a robot suit. And I'm like, that's why. Because it is about a cat in a robot suit.
Yes, but yeah, it's supposed to be like this Metroidvania where the robot suit is what makes you be able to like hit things and be powerful, but sometimes you have to get out of the robot suit in order to explore. But you're
like
just
Blaster
a cat.
Master. Okay.
So
Or Earthworm Jim.
yeah, I don't know. It just seems up your alley.
Wait, does Earthworm Jim really leave his suit at times to go do earthwormy things?
In some of the games he has. Yeah.
Neat. Okay. I was not aware.
Anyway, Devolver Digital has now bought Doinksoft, and they put out this, with all the, everyone's talking about the Microsoft acquisition.
Right.
And everyone's always putting, there's, as somebody who has done graphics for these things, there's the graphics that everyone uses all the time, which is like Microsoft, plus
X,
Blizzard,
yeah.
Activision. Here are all the games.
Yep.
So they put out their own version of that here, so you can see, all the cool stuff that they're doing.
It's like you might think that this is just a normal ass. This is
if
just
you
what
could-
they use.
See if you could spot the very subtle thing about this picture that is because Devolver Digital is being silly.
I'm a little confused by the fact that the fourth game, I'm pretty sure, wasn't made by Doing Soft. Am I correct in assuming that?
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
You think Red Dead Redemption, the thing with the incredibly
No, Red Dead Redemption 2.
specific horse graphics.
Specific
We
horse
definitely
graphics.
haven't done stories on before.
I love this. I would love if it turns out that Doing Soft was had been a uncredited subcontractor.
Oh, yeah.
And had actually worked on Red Dead Redemption 2.
There's, God, most publishers couldn't get away with doing that because they'd be like, you're being sued. But yeah, there's something really nice about seeing. I love that because that graphic, because we keep seeing it everywhere. That style of graphic, the big publisher plus studio, and then here's the things below it, and it's all always on black. And I'm like, I like that. It's like that's not a thing everybody does. That's a thing we've just
No.
seen Microsoft doing a lot of.
I can't.
But now it's going to be a thing that everybody does.
There's one publisher. It might be Annapurna, but it might be someone else I follow on Twitter. That anytime there's a significant acquisition, they'll post something like, "Oh, we also have acquired a cheeseburger," or here's a picture of this game on Switch, and it's just like a physical copy of a game. Like
they just actually acquired it?
go. Yeah, we've just acquired this physical item.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like something Devolver Digital would do.
So, yeah, looking forward to seeing that in my timeline again.
I mean, it's funny, looking at the, this thing of like the sort of style, these kind of templates, if you want to call them style things. We were talking, I don't know, last week or the week before, stuff, about this AI art and and I was saying that a large portion of what I do for ChillPoint graphics.
Yes.
Theoretically, I can imagine that an AI system could do it.
You could just go to Midjourney and say, I need to have this plus this logo, and then some representation.
It's like this logo plus this logo, and then all the games do. Now, as far as I know, none of the current image generator AIs are sort of set up for that kind of thing. They would end up with some sort
weird
of weird
collage.
Abstract.
most image generator AIs can't even really do text properly these days. But I could imagine that something like that could exist. The idea of being I need a graphic to represent this company acquiring this company.
Yeah.
It's give the put the or that these two companies went to court. It's okay.
Yeah.
Rather than me having to be okay, I need to get the logo for this, a couple boxing gloves, I guess, put them to, which I love that. Again, you look for that was
the shorthand.
That was when it was the Epic Apple
Yeah.
Lawsuit stuff. If you looked for Epic Apple lawsuit, there'd be 30 variations of the two logos with boxing gloves.
Yeah.
Whereas if
Or
you
the,
had,
That all these different these different graphic departments had made.
the versus thing from Mortal Kombat or
Right.
fighting games.
But if you
that
asked
kind of
Stable
thing.
Diffusion to do that, it would come back with two really fucked up hands.
yeah. But I can't.
fingers coming out of boxing gloves.
Kind of like
I can imagine that it would be very interesting. I can imagine that an AI could design something, could be made to do that.
Yes.
Current ones are not, but
No.
I would be very interested in that as a thing.
The evolution of clip art. Yeah.
Yeah, essentially that. A more advanced clip art system.
What was it? Adam made fun of you last night for a computer taking your job, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm fine with that."
He still owns the company, Adam. He's going to make money regardless.
Most Yeah, most of the stuff that I'm most of the like little utilities and projects I work on
Yeah.
are me trying to make the computer take more of my job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
And
It's funny
and I
to
get
me.
frustrated that the computer can't take more of my job.
It's funny to me. I think the most dangerous person to mock while you're on a stream is the person on tech who can do all kinds of things to what's happening.
Hey, you remember Joy-Con drift?
Yeah, it's still kind of
yeah.
around.
Soon the end of that. Right?
Yes.
Please tell me, Paul.
They've come out with a new joystick that drifts even more.
Oh, good.
No.
It's for driving games. Right?
Devolver's bringing those out.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
partner with Mad Cats to make the shittiest controllers you've ever used.
It comes pre-drifting. There's like a little slider you can set how much
How much drift you
Joy-Con
want?
drift. You want.
Oh God,
Oh, that
yeah.
would be
You know what?
funny.
There's going to be games that are going to integrate a thing like that. I'm sure too.
I don't.
It's like turn up joystick sensitivity to beyond what you want.
No. What? So they have said that because there have been nearly 25,000 complaints brought before the European Consumer Organization,
Well,
Nintendo has agreed to offer lifetime repairs of Nintendo Switch controllers to customers in the European Union.
yes, there it is. Knew that was coming, but it's a start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're still doing them for North America or not, because I know they were doing them for such a long time that
I feel
you
like
definitely sent in a couple.
What's the population of Europe of the EU? By the way, if anyone can just pull that up, I would appreciate just seeing that in chat.
I'd like
guess it
that,
doesn't
like you see
include-
these stories every once in a while, and it's like North America or Canada and the U.S.
Yeah,
Obviously, we have consumer
protection
organizations.
Yeah.
That are like, this paint has lead in it.
Yes.
Please, we're going to sue you for it.
This telecom is definitely overcharging you, and we'll do something about that.
There's so many
But-
people in Europe.
But
Thank you.
but I feel like the European Union has, as well as those kind of consumer protections being stronger there, there's also this, like, it's not just like they have this European Union wide organization
Yeah.
that takes complaints that aren't like, this is illegal.
Yes.
Like this is lead or is
Yeah,
killing
you have
people.
broken the law. Yeah.
This is killing people. Whatever. It's just like, this is a really crappy thing that this company is doing.
Yeah.
We don't think they should do it. And if enough people complain about it, they actually have authority to be like, no,
Yeah.
you have to put a port. You have to use the proper port on your phone.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
Whereas, in Canada and the U.S., there's consumer protections about important, that are not unimportant. There's all sorts of stuff about, polluting the environment and causing danger to people and stuff. But it can't but there isn't really a way to complain to a central government authority that you can complain to for. It's just like, this thing is stupid.
Yes. We don't like this.
We don't like this, and we know they could do better.
Yeah.
Isn't like a legal grounds that you can complain, but in the EU you can,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
And often we get a knock-on effect because they have to do it for the EU, and they're like, fine, I guess we'll do it for everybody
Yeah.
else too.
But
So-
this is why, when we did vouchers were returning for the Nintendo eShop,
Yeah.
that was a North American thing, because in the EU they just have always been.
Yeah.
And you could tell which publications have an American audience versus which ones didn't, because the ones with the American audiences
Wait a minute.
didn't
Wait.
differentiate.
Oh, we picnic. Well, we'll see.
Stream dropped.
No, we have some people saying not, so we'll just hang on a second. Oh, there's a few more people. Okay.
Stream. Oh yeah.
Few streamers happening lately.
Yeah, that's fine. We're coming back. Thank you, everybody.
And we're back.
Cool. I'm not cutting any of what happened out.
Yeah. The
Local records are.
Yeah.
my
Sorry
friend.
about that.
So the population of the EU, as we saw from chat, thank you, 447 million people. That's roughly equivalent to North America. I mean, I don't know if that would include Mexico or not, but 40 million people in Canada, almost 400 million people, I think, in the United States. So we're roughly equivalent. It's probably, so however you want to divide it all up.
I like. There's 400 million, 450 million people in the EU.
Yeah.
And together with the United States,
yeah,
we have 450 million people.
Just kind
50
of
here and 400 there.
That's
why just line up. And it's
Canada's like 30 million.
Well, the EU is a collection of countries, and it's like if you think of North America as a collection of countries as well, just very less countries. So,
yeah,
anyway.
North America is equally split between its two countries.
Mm-hmm. Well, because I mean, also anything that happens in the United States tends to get thought of as like maybe we need to harmonize that in Canada. We
North
never
America
have it
technically
the other
has
way,
three. Mexico is part of North America. Whether or not they count that as part of North America for, say, Nintendo, that's a different thing.
That I think is the other thing too, right? It's like I don't know how they calculate that. If they're like, Mexico consists of part of like how if Nintendo of Mexico, if there is such a entity or not. But
I mostly point it out because I do know that I have literally met people who think all of North America is just the States, or if they know better, they'll add Canada. Yeah,
it's true. But that idea of like roughly equivalent amount of population, but the representation is very different. Like you say, the consumer protection organization in the U.S. and in Canada are nowhere near as strident, or like, because it sounds to me like the European Union has like their parliament is the one who's actually like, we're going to set some of these things as laws, and we're going to try to we're going to try to enshrine this stuff as like, this is what good practice is for people, and good for them for doing that, because it's like that's a substantial population of people that are now going to have this. And if you look at North America's 600 million people, that's very possible for whatever's happening in the EU to start to have an effect on what's happening in other. And I hope it comes to Canada. I don't give a shit about America, by the way, because I don't live there at this point. If it does come to Canada, I'm like, that's great. If they're like, we have lifetime warranty on any of our joysticks that came off of that have this problem, I'm kind of like, I think that's a very cool thing. And if it comes to the States, great, good for you guys. And if it didn't come to us, then it'd be like, fuck.
I just don't know if they got rid of it or not for North America, because I know it was.
They're continuing to do it, right?
As far as I know, but like.
But I guess the difference is they're continuing to do it, but it's sort of based on their
goodwill
as opposed to actually being legally required to do it.
Exactly. My biggest hope is that what we'll see is this is stepping way forward. But my hope is that whatever they bring out next for a system will be Hall effect joysticks.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Entirely.
I mean, from what I understand, that technology is getting cheaper in the sense. I mean, there's lots of third-party controllers that use that now. So.
Yeah, it's like it's $30 for a replacement Hall effect joystick to go into a Joy-Con, and so that's $30 for each one if you want to replace both of them, obviously. Mm-hmm. But the more they make, and if you have Nintendo be like, I need 100 million of these things, it's like, well, all of a sudden the price drops.
Yeah, I mean, if my Joy-Cons seriously drift a lot again, I do want to just go buy some nicer
buy the third-party ones
and try to do the replacement myself.
Yeah, I agree.
I
very carefully and nervously, because I don't do that stuff often, and even if it's supposed to be easy, I'm gonna panic.
I love this Ars Technica article that's talking about this. Ends with this one sentence being like, in the U.S., a judge recently threw out a class action lawsuit over the Joy-Con drift issues, citing the Switch EULA that bars such suits.
Yeah.
Yeah. They thought ahead and said, hey, we could fix this problem, or we could just write a thing that says nobody can sue us for it.
Yeah.
Well, that was way easier. Why didn't we do that before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, hopefully whenever the miraculous Switch 2 makes its debut, because that rumor mill will never die until it does.
Even once the Switch 2 comes out, the Switch 2 will still be rumored.
Yeah, essentially. Maybe they won't come out and say they fixed Joy-Con drift, but they'll probably say something like the controllers are even better now, or have been
it's the
altered
it's the
or
Apple
something,
it's
right?
the Apple thing where they don't actually like admit that there was a problem.
Well,
Yes.
you can't.
There wasn't a problem before, but now there's even less of a problem.
Yeah. Well, if you admit directly that okay, that was a problem, but now we fixed it, that is definitely going to get you in trouble.
There will be a level of, depending on how they want to talk about it, there'll be a thing of like improved precision, or some sort of like new, even more precise Joy-Cons, like that kind of idea.
Right,
You'll
yeah.
refer to that.
Yeah. Something to indicate. And I mean, once somebody, maybe Digital Foundry or whoever gets their hands on one, they'll do a teardown, and people will know.
They'll say that, because no one at Nintendo is going to publish material that says Hall effect joysticks. They're not going to say that.
Probably not.
So, and I definitely don't think they're going to, like I saw in the chat, Maple Syrup mentions, it could say improved reliability. It's like, I don't even think they would go that far. I think that it would be a thing of like new, even more precise, like that kind of.
Right.
You don't say improved if you can help it. You try to lean into the thing of like, oh, it's a brand new technology that makes things even cooler than they were before. And it's like, it's technically true.
It's like in this new technology that we developed in-house.
Yes.
And nobody has ever used before.
Yes. That does come up, yeah.
Either that or they'll just be whatever the next game console is from Nintendo will be weird and wacky and not even have joysticks.
No joysticks at all somehow.
I mean the Wii.
possible.
I mean the Wii didn't have joysticks.
Yeah,
Although, I mean there was the Pro
okay.
controller.
Yeah.
But the Wii itself did not have joysticks.
Technically, the Wii came with a nunchuck, which had a joystick.
Oh,
on
that's
it.
true. That's
Yeah.
true. The nunchuck had the joystick on it.
But I played an entire fucking first-party-ish game from Nintendo that could have used a joystick and did not use a joystick.
Was it Smash?
Thank you, Other M.
Oh, that. Yeah, well. Yeah, well.
Moving on.
That's it.
Oh, good.
Yay! We've contractually fulfilled the gaming news for the week.
Yeah.
By contractually, the one that we agreed to do together.
But don't leave yet, because we have other things we have to tell you about. It's first up, store.loadingreadyrun.com.
Yes.
Yes, because we are moving to a new moon base. I don't know if any of you or all of you out there know that yet, and if you don't, feel free to let your friends know that. Maybe they don't give a shit. If they're not fans of ours yet, well, that's your job, is to turn them into fans. You go to lrr.cc/mkvi, or Mark 6 as you're thinking about it, mkvi, or just go to the store and you'll find the Welcome Aboard collection. We have the mission patches, we have the Moonbase Penny Arcade pin, the 20th Century Travel poster, and then we have a bundle pulling them all together with an amenity kit as a bonus and a ticket. An amenity kit full of some things that are fun to take with you on an extended space tour. I wouldn't maybe recommend them for space, but they would be probably good at a convention.
How long do I have to pre-order my purchases?
It's all pre-order until April 16th.
April 16th.
We extended it.
It was previously going to be closing this Sunday on April 9th. We have extended it because we had some issues with the availability of certain things. So we wanted to make sure that everyone get in whenever they can. So we've extended it until the 16th.
And if you're waiting for like shirts or other things to come back in the stock, I have reordered all three of the Pixel logo shirts. I have reordered the Pride shirts, and I have reordered the Mountain tees, the RoadQuest Mountain tees. I've also reordered the Diagram playmats, and I've reordered the Jund playmats. And all that stuff is still being manufactured. I'm being very specific here because I want people to not get their hopes about, maybe this other thing will come back into stock. It's like, those are the things that I know that are being developed, that they're coming back into stock. The hope is that they'll get here before the 16th. So if you're waiting to bundle stuff together, feel free to wait a little bit longer. But by the 16th, is the intention is to close everything off and say, now we are reordering stuff. So based on those numbers.
Yeah. And this is limited edition stuff. We ain't going to be moving to Moonbase Mark 6 again.
Yeah.
Better not be.
Yeah.
We might. I guess we'll move to. Maybe we'll move to Mark 7 at some point in the future. But it won't be 6.
We're not thinking that far.
It won't be
ahead,
Mark
though.
6 again.
No.
Okay. Patreon.
Yes. Also, of course, everything that we do is brought to you by our Patreon, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, and all the other ways that you support us. If you're watching this on YouTube, please, you can subscribe. You can
Give us a super thanks.
like the
If you
video
want.
and hit the bell in order to be notified when new videos come out on this channel. Normally there'll be the episode of ChillPoint, which next week we will be back for more ChillPoint.
Yeah, barring any sort of very terrible thing happening, because
Currently that is the plan. So thanks everybody for watching, and we will talk to all y'all later.
Bye.
bye.
Bye.